Nothing prepares you for the storm that Landman Season 3 is about to unleash. The calm after the chaos of Season 2 was only temporary, and now every decision Tommy thought he had mastered is about to explode in ways that will shake the foundations of his world. Alliances will crack, loyalties will be tested, and the very definition of family, business, and betrayal will blur beyond recognition. The question isn't whether Tommy can survive, it's whether anyone can, when the game he's playing has no rules. Season 3 opens with Tommy standing on the edge of a fragile empire he built with his own hands, yet every victory feels hollow. CT and T oil. Exploration and cattle was meant to be his sanctuary, a place where he could reclaim control over his life after the seismic betrayal by Cammy, but the thrill of independence is already tainted by an unseen weight pressing down on him. Galino's shadow looms larger than ever. He doesn't just exist in Tommy's life, he infiltrates it, carefully orchestrating uncertainty, whispering threats that are as subtle as they are deadly. The Alliance is no longer a distant threat. It's a living, breathing presence in every boardroom, every contract negotiation, every late-night phone call. And as Tommy walks through the halls of his own company, the knowledge that Galino is always one step ahead gnaws at him. Every move, every decision now carries consequences that could destroy everything he has worked for. Tommy's instinct tells him that power is a dangerous illusion, and even his closest allies, Cooper and TL, are only as loyal as their survival depends on. Trust has become a luxury he can no longer afford. Meanwhile, life at home is equally unstable. The fractures in Tommy's personal life are deepening. Even though he has chosen family over empire, his role as a father is under constant strain. The demands of raising children while running a company that is constantly teetering on the brink of disaster leave him drained, vulnerable, and unpredictable. Every interaction at home carries tension, sometimes subtle, sometimes explosive. Cooper and Ariana's burgeoning romance injects a complex layer of emotion into the mix, forcing Tommy to confront his own relationships and what he has sacrificed for power. And then there's Anansley, whose pursuit of independence challenges the family's traditional dynamics, reminding Tommy that the next generation is watching, learning, and ready to strike in their own way. Each character is at a crossroads, their paths intertwined with Tommy's in ways that promise both loyalty and heartbreak. The offshore rig storyline escalates the stakes in ways that cannot be ignored. Newsom's journey to the sea is no longer just a business venture, it's a ticking time bomb. Oil and gas are at the heart of every decision, and the risks are astronomical. Success could redefine the balance of power in the industry, but failure could shatter relationships and ruin reputations permanently. Cammy's aggressive maneuvers in the energy sector mirror Tommy's strategic brilliance, yet their paths are bound to collide. Every strike, every gamble, every victory sets the stage for a confrontation that neither of them can avoid. The tension between them is palpable. The unspoken question lingers over every interaction. Who will come out on top, and at what cost? As Season 3 unfolds, it becomes clear that this isn't just a story about business. It's a study in human ambition, morality, and survival. Tommy is no longer just battling external threats. He is confronting the shadows within himself. His instincts are sharper, his strategies more calculated, but his heart remains vulnerable. The audience is forced to sit at the edge of their seats, watching a man who is as brilliant as he is flawed navigate a world that has become increasingly unforgiving. Every alliance could crumble, every plan could backfire, and every relationship is a gamble with stakes higher than ever before. Season 3 promises to deliver twists that are not only shocking, but emotionally resonant, pulling viewers into the mind of a man who is both hero and anti-hero, and reminding us that in the world of Landman, survival is never guaranteed. Season 3 intensifies as Tommy's world becomes a battlefield where every decision has irreversible consequences. Galino's presence is more than an antagonistic force. It's a psychological labyrinth designed to break Tommy from the inside out. Unlike typical villains who rely on brute force or straightforward schemes, Galino thrives on patience, manipulation, and timing. He knows when to push, when to withdraw, and when to make Tommy feel untouchable, only to shatter that illusion at the worst possible moment. The tension is relentless, and even the smallest misstep could ignite a chain reaction with catastrophic consequences. Tommy is forced to read every gesture, every word, and every silence, knowing that one miscalculation could not only destroy his company, but also tear apart the fragile threads of loyalty that remain among his closest allies. Cooper and TL's partnership with Tommy takes on a new level of importance in this season. Cooper's calm, analytical mind is constantly tested by Tommy's impulsive decisions, while TL's loyalty is challenged by situations that require moral judgment over sheer business acumen. Together, they form a delicate triangle of trust and tension, where even minor disagreements have the potential to spiral into major confrontations. Their personal lives are not immune to this pressure. Cooper and Ariana's impending marriage, once a symbol of hope and stability, becomes another arena where professional conflicts intersect with personal desires. Every strategy meeting, every negotiation, and every casual conversation is now layered with underlying threats and hidden agendas. The audience is drawn into a web of intrigue, watching how even seemingly minor choices ripple outward, shaping destinies and rewriting alliances. Tommy's relationship with Cammy evolves into a complex interplay of rivalry, respect, and unresolved tension. The boardroom and the battlefield merge as each of them attempts to outmaneuver the other without revealing their full hand. Cammy's success offshore raises the stakes even further. Every barrel of oil she discovers, every deal she secures, reinforces her independence while simultaneously bringing her into direct conflict with Tommy's vision. This collision is inevitable, and the emotional stakes are just as high as the financial ones. The audience senses that the true danger is not just in the deals or the contracts, but in the fragile bonds of trust, family, and pride that both Tommy and Cammy are balancing with increasing difficulty. The season explores the thin line between partnership and opposition, illustrating that even love can become a battlefield when ambition is involved. Meanwhile, Anne Insley's journey towards self-reliance adds an entirely new layer of tension to the narrative. Her decisions, fueled by a desire to escape the shadows of the older generation, place her in situations where loyalty and independence collide. Every choice she makes has consequences for herself and for those around her. In parallel, smaller characters, whose roles were once peripheral, emerge with greater complexity. Their ambitions, secrets, and grudges all intersect with Tommy's core storyline, creating a multi-layered tapestry of conflict and suspense. Season 3 doesn't allow anyone to remain static. Everyone is evolving, adapting, and surviving in a world where the rules are constantly changing. The audience is kept guessing not only about business outcomes, but about the moral choices each character will make when pushed to their limits. Finally, the offshore rig storyline is a ticking time bomb that grows more volatile with every passing episode. Newsom's expedition isn't just about discovering oil or gas. It's about testing boundaries, resilience, and trust. Every decision on that rig carries high-stakes consequences for MTechs, CT, and T, and every character connected to them. The environmental risks, financial pressure, and human errors compound, threatening to ignite a series of disasters that could reshape the power dynamics of the entire series. Tommy's ability to respond is hampered by the unpredictability of both nature and human ambition. Season 3 ensures that viewers are never allowed a moment of comfort. Every victory is fleeting, and every setback serves as a harbinger of the next crisis. Suspense, intrigue, and human drama are interwoven seamlessly, creating a narrative where survival is both a skill and a gamble. Season 3 doesn't just test Tommy's business acumen, it tests his very soul. Every move he makes is shadowed by the knowledge that one wrong decision could unravel everything he has built. Galino's influence is subtle, psychological, and terrifyingly effective. He's no longer just a distant threat. He is the unseen hand in every room, the quiet whisper in every conversation, the calculating observer of every triumph and failure. Unlike before, Tommy can't simply outmaneuver him with charm or aggression. Galino plays a game that requires intuition, patience, and the ability to anticipate human weakness. And Tommy, brilliant though he is, finds himself constantly questioning his own instincts. What once felt like second nature, the strategy, the negotiation, the instinctive gut reads, now carries hidden traps, and every choice demands careful weighing of consequences that extend far beyond the boardroom. The audience is placed inside Tommy's mind, sensing every flicker of doubt, every calculated risk, and every pulse of anxiety that comes from knowing that survival is no longer guaranteed. At home, the tension mirrors the chaos of business. Tommy's family life continues to be a tightrope walk between love and obligation. His children, more aware of the stakes than he realizes, are beginning to assert their independence, forcing him to confront the fact that legacy isn't just about wealth or power. It's about influence, guidance, and the fragile bonds of trust that hold a family together. Cooper and Ariana's relationship provides a temporary counterpoint, a flicker of hope amidst the storm. Yet, even that is threatened by secrets, misunderstandings, and the looming weight of business conflicts spilling into personal space. TL, loyal yet pragmatic, is caught between the loyalty he feels for Tommy and the moral dilemmas that arise when business decisions risk lives and relationships. Every scene underscores the idea that family and empire are never separate. They bleed into one another, each decision carrying double meaning, each victory potentially a prelude to disaster. Meanwhile, Cammy's arc becomes increasingly complicated. She is no longer just a foil to Tommy. She is a force in her own right, a strategic mind with ambitions that rival and occasionally exceed his own. Her success offshore is more than a professional triumph. It's a statement of independence and power. Each barrel of oil she discovers, every deal she secures, positions her as both a rival and an unlikely ally, forcing Tommy to confront his feelings about trust, competition, and unresolved emotional tension. Their interactions are electric with unspoken history, a mix of respect and rivalry that constantly threatens to ignite into conflict. Cammy is aware of Tommy's instincts, aware of his methods, and yet she pushes boundaries that challenge his control. The push and pull dynamic between them drives much of the narrative, and it's clear that any reconciliation or final confrontation will come at tremendous cost. The season also shifts focus to the younger generation, whose actions increasingly shape the narrative. Aninsley's journey towards self-determination serves as a mirror to Tommy's own struggles. She is determined, ambitious, and unwilling to rely on the crutches of legacy or connections. Every decision she makes carries weight, not just for her future, but for the trajectory of those around her. Cooper and Ariana's plans for marriage, once a subplot, now serve as a subtle pressure point, highlighting the tension between personal happiness and familial expectation. The younger characters inject a sense of unpredictability, a reminder that the world Tommy controls is never static, and that new players will always emerge to challenge the established order. Their decisions, alliances, and mistakes ripple through the story, amplifying the suspense and complexity of every episode. Finally, the offshore rig storyline becomes a crucible for risk, ambition, and human error. Newsom's venture into the unknown is fraught with peril. Mechanical failures, environmental hazards, and human mistakes all threaten to spark disaster. Every strike of success, every discovery of oil, serves as both triumph and warning, a reminder that fortune is fleeting and danger is never far behind. Tommy's responses to these crises are calculated yet strained, illustrating that leadership is as much about managing fear as it is about seizing opportunity. Season 3 uses these high-stakes scenarios to heighten tension, create moral dilemmas, and force characters to confront the consequences of their actions in real time. The audience experiences the adrenaline, the dread, and the excitement alongside the characters, ensuring that every twist feels earned and every decision carries emotional and narrative weight. As Season 3 progresses, it becomes painfully clear that Tommy's world is no longer defined by business strategy alone. It is defined by survival, loyalty, and the ever-present shadow of betrayal. Every alliance is tested, every relationship strained, and every victory carries the weight of impending consequence. Galino continues to weave his web, his influence creeping into every corner of Tommy's life, leaving no one untouched. Even those closest to Tommy are not immune. Trust becomes a fragile commodity, something that can be broken in an instant by secrets, misunderstandings, or sheer ambition. Each character faces the reality that loyalty comes at a cost, and the lines between friend and enemy blur with every episode. The audience is forced to constantly question motives, who can be trusted, and who is quietly plotting their own ascent. The tension is relentless, with every small interaction carrying the weight of potential catastrophe. Tommy's internal conflict reaches new depths. The man who once relied on instinct and calculated risk is now haunted by the consequences of his past decisions. The foundation of CT and T oil, exploration, and cattle is solid, yet the pressure of keeping it afloat while protecting those he loves is almost unbearable. Every business decision is a high-stakes gamble that could jeopardize the lives and futures of everyone involved. His mental and emotional endurance are tested to their limits, highlighting the duality of his existence. Brilliant strategist and vulnerable human being. This season explores not only the challenges of leadership, but the cost of ambition, emphasizing that power without control can be as dangerous as having no power at all. Tommy's journey becomes an intricate dance of intellect, intuition, and emotion, keeping viewers riveted as they watch him navigate impossible choices with both courage and fear. Cammy's arc intensifies as she positions herself not just as a rival, but as a formidable force within the industry. Her successes offshore, combined with her ruthless business acumen, push Tommy to confront the reality that she is no longer an obstacle to be overcome, but a power player whose presence commands attention and respect. Their interactions crackle with tension, a volatile mix of past history, unresolved emotions, and present-day stakes. Every encounter between them becomes a study in strategy and psychology. Cammy's victories create both admiration and friction, forcing Tommy to balance competitive instincts with personal feelings, an internal battle that mirrors the external conflicts raging within the company. The audience senses that every word spoken between them could ignite the next crisis, and every shared glance carries unspoken implications for what might come next. Meanwhile, the younger generation continues to assert itself, adding complexity to the unfolding drama. In Inslee's independence, Cooper and Ariana's marriage plans, and TL's loyalty are all threads in a larger tapestry that challenges the traditional hierarchy Tommy has relied on. These characters are not mere supporting players. They actively influence the trajectory of events, their choices carrying consequences that reverberate across business and family. Mistakes become lessons, victories become sparks for envy, and alliances shift in response to ambition and opportunity. Season 3 masterfully intertwines these arcs, ensuring that every character's journey feels integral to the narrative while increasing suspense and uncertainty. The audience is constantly reminded that in the Landman universe, even the smallest actions can have monumental effects. The offshore rig storyline explodes into full-blown crisis this season. Newsom's mission, once a calculated gamble, becomes a tense battleground where human error, environmental danger, and corporate ambition collide. Every decision on that rig now carries both physical and financial stakes, creating a ticking time bomb that looms over Tommy, Cammy, and their entire network of allies and rivals. Success could cement Cammy's independence and power, but it could also put her directly in conflict with Tommy's vision for the future. The storylines converge, forcing all characters to confront their limits both strategically and morally. Season 3 emphasizes that in this world, no one is safe, and every choice, even the seemingly minor ones, has the potential to trigger a cascade of consequences that could change the balance of power forever. By the midpoint of the season, the tension reaches near unbearable heights. Alliances crack under pressure, betrayals come from unexpected directions, and even the most calculated plans unravel in ways no one could foresee. Tommy, once confident in his ability to control outcomes, finds himself navigating a landscape of uncertainty where survival, rather than success, becomes the ultimate goal. The audience is left on edge, anticipating the next twist, the next betrayal, and the next emotional blow, all while remaining deeply invested in each character's journey. Season 3 of Landman has transformed into a study of power, loyalty, and consequence, demonstrating that in this high-stakes world, no victory comes without cost, and no life is untouched by the fallout of ambition. As Season 3 races toward its most explosive chapters, Tommy's world teeters on the edge of total chaos. Every victory feels like a prelude to disaster, and every decision carries consequences that could devastate not only his empire, but the people he loves most. Galino, the silent orchestrator of so much turmoil, now makes his moves increasingly bold. He is no longer content to lurk in the shadows. His influence becomes overt, striking at the heart of Tommy's operations with surgical precision. Deals collapse unexpectedly, alliances fracture, and the delicate network Tommy has painstakingly built threatens to unravel entirely. The audience is left holding their breath as they witness a man whose brilliance has always been. His armor now being systematically tested against an opponent who knows exactly how to exploit every weakness. Suspense runs at a fever pitch, as the stakes are no longer hypothetical. They are immediate, personal, and devastatingly real.